Welcome to our Research Like a Pro with DNA question and answer series. And today we are talking about how does the new edition of Evidence Explained compare to past editions? This was such a good question that was sent in by one of our members. And the questions were two-part. What is the difference between the new edition of Evidence Explained and past editions? And then, how should we use the 14 new templates instead of the numerous past quick check models? So, I thought we'd just do a fun little, very high level overview of some of the differences and some of the neat things that are in the brand new edition. So here's a side-by-side comparison. The third edition looks like this. This is what many of us have, and now we are all waiting patiently, or we already have received our new edition of Evidence Explained. So we have black cover and white cover. The third edition had 892 total pages, and the fourth edition cuts out about 150 of those pages. So you'll see it's still plenty lengthy, plenty of substance there. The third edition had 14 chapters, and the fourth edition has a new chapter, and it is titled Building a Citation, and it has 14 templates. Now, these templates replace the many, many quick check models that were in each chapter of the third edition. And we get the exact same stuff here. We get instruction on important elements for each record type with sample citations for reference note, subsequent reference notes, and source list entries. So we get this same information, but the difference really comes with these templates 1 through 14. So, this new chapter is titled Building a Citation, and it goes over, first of all, citation structure and then citation design. And Elizabeth Schoen Mills discusses the 5 W's a little bit differently than we sometimes are used to. And she says, answering the 5 questions of who, what, when, where, and why should I believe this bit of information I'm taking from this source? And she says, building block suggestions for answering each question are in this is what's in this new templates, and then she discusses layers for a citation, and then she discusses assembling the building blocks and layers. So this part about the why is not something that you put in your citation. It's maybe something you put in your notes or in your writing. It's basically your analysis of the source and the citation which points to that source. So these 14 templates, here are some of the basics. So you've got several on basic publications like books, magazine articles, and newspaper articles, a template for archival holdings, uh, multiple for online images, microfilm, certificate, census, and gravestone. So these are some of the broad categories for the templates. And then when you go to each template, you have a table with a building block and an example. So you have a table that says who and how do you define the who? How do you define the what? How do you define the when and the where? And so you get to see a really good example of how to build your own citation for that specific record type based on the template. And then you have specifics to that template. You will have, after the table, you will have the actual citation sentence, the first reference note, and it's based on everything that's been put into the table. And so you really get an example of that. And then you get some notes on the construction, how you want to think about building that citation. So I really like this because I feel like it gives us this good template. It gives us a good understanding of what should go into a citation for that specific record type. And then the subsequent chapters are much the same. And you have basic issues of citing a record type for each chapter, and then considerations for citing specific records within the broad record type. So you might have government records, and then it'll be broken down into all the different types within that. But you still get a lot of the basics, just like we had in edition 3. So I thought it would be fun to turn to both chapters on cemetery records for the third and fourth editions. And I did see in comparing that many sections are identical. The text was exactly the same. In the fourth edition, because of those templates, 1 through 14, you will be directed to the appropriate template. So you don't have to guess, you don't have to try to think which one would be best for cemetery records. It will just direct you to the specific template, which is really nice. And both of them have sample citations. And I noticed that the citations were the same, for instance, with the cemetery records, and I believe with the other sections as well. But then Elizabeth Show Mills has added some to her original citations. And so she has bolded those for the fourth edition. So I noticed that there were several citations that had additions. So I think this is a good lesson for all of us that in going back to past citations that we have created, that it's okay to add to them. You know, who says that our initial citation has to be absolutely perfect or there can't be anything else added to it? Of course, we can edit and we can fix those as we discover something might be needed. So, some ideas on using this fourth edition. First of all, I would say yes, you do need it because it will help you a lot. For one thing, it'll really help you understand citations. And I would say study the first 3 chapters. Those are the basics. We used to say study the first 2 chapters, but now I study the first 3 because that includes those templates. And then obviously, we are not going to go back and redo all the citations we have done in the past. That could be hundreds or thousands of citations. But when you are tackling a new research project, perhaps take a look at a citation. If you've got a census template, perhaps look at the chapter on censuses and see if you want to tweak anything with your template. Is there something that's been added that you could add to your own template? Study the appropriate chapter or the section in that and see if you can get some new insights into the records and building a citation for that record. And then if you've never created a template for your citations, then you'll want to do that. And as you work on your citations, you can start building this template, or you might want to update an existing template for that specific citation based on some of the new thoughts and ideas for evidence explained. There are, of course, many, many updates, especially to online materials and how to work with online materials, bringing it up to the present day. And of course, if you want to learn more, always go to the website, Evidence Explained. And there's a whole section on questions as people are starting to go through the book and having questions on citations in there. And then Elizabeth Shown Mills will go in and answer that. And you can go back and read other people's questions and their thoughts on that. So I hope you'll take the opportunity to study this wonderful new source and really see what you can gain from a new view of source citations by Elizabeth Shown Mills. Thank you.